I think you need to start by finding out what has been said already. So things like the literature review, what does the academic literature say on this subject already? So there's no substitute for a really hard graph getting started to find out what the literature says about your topic. Having got that, you identify the things that are known, the things that are well known, the things that are less well known, and from that you can begin to tease out what your research question might be, to throw some light upon the things that are less well known. I think the next sort of information is, how do you going to get new information, new data, to throw light upon the things that are less well known? And that depends upon different disciplines. Myself, I'm quite happy to do that with interviews, semi-structured interviews that have a framework but allow the respondent to deviate and give you information that maybe you hadn't thought about. Sometimes when you've gathered your data from a wide range of sources, interviews and so on and so forth, you might want to find out, does this make sense? So you bring together a small focus group and you give them your results, and then you say, what do you think, guys, does this make sense? And by doing that from different areas, you can, what they call, triangulate the information. So you can look at the information from different directions and see if it tells you the same thing. If it tells you the same thing from different points of view, then you're fairly certain that this is a good representation of what's actually happening. If you get different views, then you say, well, it means different things to different people. Let's explore this further, because we're maybe talking about different things here. So I think different ways of doing so. I think the main point of doing so is you have to be consistent in what you're doing, what you're gathering. So you have to look at information from literature as a wide sort of scooping up process to see what's been done, and then narrow it down to much more specific points. The classic thing when you start a project is to learn the difference between what is reliable information and what is less reliable information. What we would say as academics is peer-reviewed literature is where you want to start, because that's been through a process of checking by your peers, by the academic peers, to make sure that any bias or any inflated claims or statements with no evidence maybe not have been removed entirely, but have certainly been weeded out, which is not the case if you buy, for example, a newspaper. The newspaper reflects the opinions of the publisher and the editor, and within that, so you'll get right-wing papers, left-wing papers, papers with a green perspective, and so on and so forth, that will tell you a particular slant on the information. Journals will do the same, but journals are actually much more objectified. They've taken away the subjective element thing about the chance of these things being influenced by random facts that are hidden or given presentations to the reader. So I think undergraduates need to realise to start with journals, perhaps with some textbooks and so on the key topics. They might move into things like what they call the grey literature, material that's come from reliable organisations, the UN or UNESCO and so on and so forth, which give you information but are not being peer reviewed, but nevertheless are substantially factually accurate and provide the evidence for what they say. And then right at the bottom of the tree are resources off the web, for example, which may or may not be accurate. There's nothing wrong with Wikipedia, but Wikipedia was one of many places that is used to try and iterate the knowledge process and try and streamline it. And it depends on what topic you're looking at and which part of the web you're looking at as to how clear that information is. As a general rule, see what's been written before. And go into the university library, look at other dissertations that have been produced before. There's a thing on the web which is called the Index of Thesis, which is every UK PhD thesis. You can see the abstract, you can order the full copy of the results, see what's been written in your field, how they've written about it, what they've used, what language they've used, what references they've used, how it's been done before. Take that to your supervisors and discuss with them, this is a good example, this is a less good example. So you can learn from what's been done already very, very quickly just by sucking up what's available in your local libraries.